Well, it's exciting because England are playing extremely well and Australia look to be struggling, so as an Englishman that is exciting. I mean, the first test at Trent Bridge was, I think, the best test match I've ever seen because it had everything. It was competitive, it was slightly controversial, it ebbed and flowed, there was a real story to it. So it really kicked off this series in great fashion, in great style, and if there was any doubt that, you know, England would walk the series, people were starting to think differently after Trent Bridge, so it kept and held people's attention. Obviously what happened at Lord's, England absolutely thumped Australia, so now all the sort of questions are, can Australia fight back? So far it's been great cricket, but England are very much in a very strong position at the moment, and if they're never ever going to have a better opportunity than winning an Ashes series 5-0. Well, continuity of selection and continuity of players undoubtedly helps a side. You don't want players going out through lack of form or injury. You'd ideally like to select from the same squad. England have tactically made a couple of changes for this one, with Stephen Finn being left out, which is probably a good thing for him. He can go back and get some form and some rhythm from Middlesex in county cricket. They brought in Chris Tremlett, who's a Surrey player here. I know they think very highly of Tremlett, and he's come back from injury. So they've tinkered a little bit with the side. There's an issue around Peterson, which isn't ideal, but obviously it gives James Taylor an opportunity. So England have had to change the side tactically and possibly through an injury if Peterson doesn't come up. With Australia though, I mean, yes, one injury in Patterson, but it seems like they don't really know what their best side is. They don't know if some of their players are the right fit for Test match cricket. There's still question marks over it. And that is a position England used to be in. And I can tell you from experience of that period, that's a very, very difficult place to be. Well, for England, Anderson is quite simply the leader of that attack. He was absolutely phenomenal at Trent Bridge. That performance on that pitch, under that pressure, in that heat, was just an epic performance, both in terms of stamina, skill, and just a desire and need to win. So Anderson is going to be important in this series because he's the figurehead, because he's so good, and he's having a bowl on pitches which are pretty flat and spinning. So he's one bowler. The other one, of course, then you turn to Graham Swan, whose performance rather got overshadowed by Joe Root's 100 at Lord's, but 9 wickets on a pretty slow pitch, which has been sort of tailored to his type of bowling, slow with a bit of spin. That puts enormous pressure on one bloke, and he dealt with that brilliantly, taking 9 wickets. So those are the two bowlers that are always going to be kingpin for England. And Joe Root, you've got to make a mention of Joe Root with the bat. I mean, Peterson's had a quiet series, Cook's had a quiet series, Trott so far, but their records will speak for themselves and they'll come good. But to see a young guy take on Australia with the pressure and the expectation of Ashes cricket, that's a fantastic performance from him. For Australia, it's hard to say. They've just got to get 11 blokes on the field fighting as one. If it goes the way it is at the moment, as I said, England will never have a better opportunity of winning an Ashes series 5-0. And something remarkable would have to happen to England's form and Australia's form to flip round for this to be any other than 4-0 unless there's rain. I don't like saying that because you don't like writing off cricketers. You're very proud to play for Australia, but England will not have a better chance of winning 5-0 in an Ashes series than they do right now. They're coping a lot better than I did. And the quality of bowlers that I didn't cope with it well at all. Ashes cricket is different. You've got to understand that Ashes cricket is different. I played 2 against Pakistan and then went into the Ashes series, and the pressure was just ramped up. Media interest, pressure on yourself, pressure around the dressing room. So it's very instructive to see just how calm the England boys are pre-match, during the game. And they've handled that extremely well. But it does take its toll. You know, they will be tired. They were tired after 2 back-to-back Ashes tests. It's different cricket. So far they've dealt with it brilliantly. They just need to tell themselves they're never going to be in this position again probably. They've got to make the most of it.